Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between Moon and Soin. This game taking place here on Twisted Meadows version 1.9. First things first, well, Moon spawning as Orc over here at what I will call the 7 o'clock position. Meanwhile, all the way at the other side of the map, we have Soin spawning as the Pink Undead. Another thing to note: this replay was not given to me by my replay scouter. Normally, I only cast replays that are particularly interesting, have different types of strategies, and things of that nature. This one completely, I have not seen it. I don't know what's going to be going on, and hopefully the game does not disappoint. The game that was lined up for today was quite a long one, and I am unfortunately not able to, well, cast as long today, so hopefully I'll be able to cast that game a little bit later. Anyways, we are looking at a Farseer first, and based on Moon's strategy, it looks like he's going to go for a very fast tech to tier 2. No barracks, no voodoo lounge, and with all of that there, he can tech to tier 2 quickly and then build those supporting structures behind it, and build those supporting structures after, and in order to get to tier 2 quickly. Now it is going to be forced cross spawns here, so we can see that the Acolyte is already making his way out across the map, and with that a little bit of information, knowing that the Acolyte is making its way out across the map, Soin knows what to expect. It is going to be Death Knight and Ghouls out here. The Farseer, however, with those Spirit Wolves, does do quite a bit of damage on those low during the early stages of the game. Able to put in a lot of pressure, doesn't need necessarily the support here, as Moon should be taking the tier 2 now that that last peon is going to go ahead and be trained. Spirit Wolves now being summoned. That that one Acolyte not going to be able to do much, as we see now a barracks finally being placed down and waiting for more lumber in order to perhaps put down a voodoo lounge as well. Farseer already making his way out across the map here. This Acolyte taking a little bit of damage. There should be enough timed life on the Spirit Wolf, as long as it doesn't get resummoned, to try and finish off that Acolyte, since it's not regenerating any hit points. Farseer wants to put pressure onto this Death Knight here, and here we go, trying to engage, trying to rack up damage onto that Death Knight already. Staying close to all of the action. The Ghouls are now trying to back away. Low hit point Ghoul down to 94 hit points, as units are just pretty much running around in a circle. This Spirit Wolf has actually given up chase against that Acolyte, surprisingly, as new units are now getting summoned on over. All right, perhaps there was a little bit of a loss of communication there, or that Acolyte was able to juke using that line of sight, as additional Spirit Wolves now being summoned up. Who's going to get that experience? The Farseer gets the last hit, and the Gloves of Haste, however, will be picked up by the Death Knight. Death Knight did sell that Scroll of Town Portal, used up all of that Rod of Necromancy charge already, as the tech to tier 2 just now getting started. Are we going to see one final hit there? Yes, another hit there. Low hit point Ghoul off to the side. Farseer not chasing after it. Not quite sure why. That little bit of additional damage. Death Coil is going to come in on time, as more damage could rack up here. Another low hit point Ghoul going to be taking another Death Coil. Just not enough burst damage to finish off these units, as the Death Knight sitting at level 1. The Farseer actually with a little bit more experience on the board after getting that last hit on that Null Overseer. Item, however, was given to the Death Knight, as we're looking at the Spirit Wolves trying to rack up a little bit of damage here. Death Knight still giving chase to the Farseer. Both mounted heroes running across the map fairly quickly. The Farseer should be able to pick up Boots of Speed if he really wants to. Decides not to, as the Death Knight didn't pursue and continue that chase. Here's that tech to tier 2 already completed before the 5-minute mark in this game. Yeah, even before 4:30, as the Farseer now picking up a healing salve and now healing up. Are we going into dual bestiaries? We are. So Moon quickly going into bestiaries. Could try to go for a quick Wind Riders, and that could spell a bit of a surprise there, as we see a Death Coil coming from the Death Knight to finish off a Spirit Wolf. Now, Crypt Fiends will need to be trained up. Web will need to be ascertained and researched, as that Spirit Wolf is quickly surrounded by just a large number of units there. All right, taking down one of those units again. That low hit point Ghoul down to 125 hit points. Death Knight with Unholy Aura will outpace outpace that Farseer as both sides are still exchanging blows again. Back here, Skeletal Minion scouting out the dual bestiary, sees a Shadow Hunter as the follow-up hero, which will be able to give quite a bit of support. Alright, Null Warden getting in a purge onto that Death Knight. Death Knight now absorbing much more damage again, and the Death Knight doesn't have any strong consumable items to try and heal back up. Alright, are we going to have a potential surround here? Farseer still exchanging blows. The Death Knight down to 368 hit points and dropping steadily as we're seeing the ghouls continuing to be able to creep away from all of the action here. Alright, that is a green creep camp here. Are we going to see a quick hex? Yes, there's a hex right there. There's a little bit of damage, and with the Scroll of Speed, the Farseer should be able to use a healing salve and get away, or perhaps get in front of his opponent. Should have used that healing salve much earlier, as the Death Knight now in a bit of trouble, down to 169 hit points, more chasing, more damage. Farseer going to try to get in front here and perhaps get in some attacks here. There you are. There is that damage. Well, no damage, just trying to get in front there, and only just got one additional shot. Alright, the Shadow Hunter has used up pretty much all of his mana to try and finish off some of these units. It will be able to take down one ghoul as the ghouls themselves finish off whatever item was dropped there. Didn't have time to research or look it up, but it was in fact there. Now, we do see some Wind Riders out here on the battlefield. So 2 Wind Riders with a third one on the way. So these Wind Riders do have a high damage per second early on. 450 range, 36 to 44. Farseer are going to summon up some additional Spirit Wolves, and this is the time where Moon is going to try and, well, perhaps burst down and get a lot of experience. Taking down difficult creep camps with level 1 units. Let's take a look at that. That Ogre Magi going to get felled here. Ring of Regeneration now on the Farseer, continuing to focus down some of these units as a Peon now making its way over, perhaps to try and set up an Expo as well. Alright, third Wind Rider is here. Moon, currently supply blocked. It needs to get in an additional Orc Burrow down, and this is this is one thing I am in fact surprised about. The Wind Riders are so heavily intensive on supply that, well, Moon really should be at 50 supply already, or at least a 50 supply cap to continue to churn out all of these Wind Riders. We're looking at 192. War Mill is now done. No additional weapon upgrades on any of these units here, as the Shadow Hunter does need to use that healing salve for himself. Alright, so there's the healing salve being used there. Farseer looking to put pressure on an Acolyte. Acolyte will get taken down. Death Knight, meanwhile, going to be getting to level 3, as there are already gargoyles in the air, as the Death Knight picks up a Ring of Protection +5. Alright, Ring of Protection +5. Wind Riders in the air. No sign of tech to tier 3 for those Envenom Spears. Farseer heading over to, well, this Ogre Warrior Forest Troll Warlord creep camp, but the units able to quickly retreat away as the gargoyles are in position alongside some obsidian statues. Moon's composition doesn't look particularly strong here, as we see some gargoyles have gotten webbed down. Alright, there's Chain Lightning trying to finish off one hex onto a gargoyle. A second gargoyle about to get taken down as well. Oh no, Death Coil does find it. Level 2 Death Coil finish doing enough there, as the Shadow Hunter did quickly hex and turn that gargoyle into a seagull for a little bit of time. Alright, we're getting Ghoul Frenzy and more gargoyles as well, as the Farseer are getting ready to engage. 47 supply over 51. 2 additional Wind Riders could be joining in on the battle here. We're looking at them perhaps trying to line up properly. A little bit more heals. There's that last Wind Rider right there. And this is one of those situations. Do you need that extra peon, or would you rather have one more Wind Rider in the air while staying in no upkeep? Farseer needs to, well, summon up some Spirit Wolves. Here we are. Here's the engagement. Going to try and take this creep camp down and perhaps get closer to level 3. I believe both of these heroes will be just shy of level 3 after this creep camp. Meanwhile, we are looking at Boots of Quel'Tha Lost. That is great for the Shadow Hunter, who is an agility-based hero. So the agility-based hero would give additional damage as well. All right, trying to finish off a couple of these last couple of units. Yeah, Farseer and Shadow Hunter will be shy of level 3. Last Wind Rider joining in on the fight here. 49 supply over 62. Hex is going to be key. And what is this? Goblin Zeppelin going to go ahead and drop right here. This could be a problem as there are spirit towers with piercing damage and attacks are going to be quick. One acolyte already quickly taken down as ghouls could end up getting poked apart. One round, one volley, finishing off another. Meanwhile, units are retreating back again. And now that the acolytes are not able to easily mine, what can happen here? One acolyte was lost and Soin needs to, well, come back and train up an additional acolyte. So dropping nicely here. Here comes a little bit more damage. Are we going to see another volley? No, we are not. The Nerubian Tower and the Spirit Tower enough to keep things at bay. 53 over 82 supply. We are looking at the Great Hall here, getting up some additional watchtower, some base defense, and now Undead gonna go ahead and try and scout this out, sees that the watchtower is here. Are we gonna be looking at a Scroll of Town Portal to try and protect? That is the question. Repairs, no, there's a quick cancellation right there. No repairs. Orc Burrow currently lobbing attacks back as you see the Troll Bat Rider trying to dive in and does find one of those gargoyles. All right, in a base trade scenario, hey, if you want to trade my Expo for your main haunted gold mine, I will gladly do that, and that seems to be the case here as the units are trying to retreat back. Oh, two Wind Riders getting caught out in open field. Are they going to be able to get away? Well, it looks as though they may be able to do exactly that. That movement speed, I believe both of them are just fast. No, very fast. All right, so one Wind Rider actually poked out of the sky by his partner, as now this Shadow Hunter needs to back up here. This Wind Rider needs to back up here. Get a healing salve on that unit. There's a Troll Bat Rider finding that gargoyle and taking it down. All right, little bit of heals going around. Low hit point Wind Rider getting healed back up as this base by Moon on the bottom left no longer secret, but giving quite the economic advantage, especially when there was a halt in the mining overall. An 800 difference or 700 difference between the main gold mines plus whatever extra additional gold has been taken down from here. All right, little bit of an engagement getting ready to go. Wind Riders, well, no upgrades at all compared to the O2 Carapace upgrades on those gargoyles to protect from those Troll Bat Riders. Unit's going to get ready to engage here. Farseer is sitting at level 3. Shadow Hunter is sitting at level 3. Well, the goblins or the Boots of Quel'Thalas have been transferred over, as I expected, to that Shadow Hunter to get in a little bit of additional damage. Destroyer up in the air and now does have a little bit of mana, so this is going to be important and key, as well as the Wind Riders get a nasty Frost Nova and now having a little bit of problem. There's a healing wave bouncing around. There's a Death Coil. We're looking at perhaps an Acid Bomb across all of those units, taking a bit of damage over time and having negative armor. Healing wave going to bounce back around here. Still more attacks coming back across. Repairs. Orc Burrows trying to, lob attacks back, and here we are going into an engagement. There goes a quick Hex down, trying to finish off some of those units as the Wind Riders are pulling away. We see Scroll of Speed. Troll Bat Riders continuing to attack. There's a Death Coil on the Destroyer, who was so low on hit points and finally taken down by that last Troll Bat Rider. There goes a quick Hex onto the Lich. Lich could have a bad day. There's some more Devour Magic removing Frost armor, but more importantly, those Spirit Wolves, as Chain Lightning bounces off of the Lich and, reduces them to nothing. Continuing this engagement here, the Wind Riders trying to use their fast movement speed, but the Death Knight's Unholy Aura allowing for, a quick escape here as the Wind Riders can, still fly around the trees and circumnavigate rather easily. Wind Riders trying to close in on these targets, perhaps trying to finish off the Destroyer. Is the Shadow Hunter going to be able to use a quick Hex on any target there? That is the question there, as the Obsidian Statue down to 236 hit points transforms, and now we'll be able to get a Death Coil from that Death Knight. All right. Moon using this opportunity to clear out additional creep camps, doesn't want to give a chase and not have it really translate into anything, as 61 supply compared to 50. Moon playing not playing Night Elf, going for Orc and using Orc Air fairly effectively against Soin, who is currently sitting at no upkeep. All right. Trying to continue to get additional experience here. We'll be able to get to dual level 4. Meanwhile, Undead Heroes, in addition to that Alchemist, level 3, level 3, level 2. without this little bit of bonus experience and getting level 4 to the Farseer and Shadowhunter, well, didn't really feel like a true hero level advantage. Oh, one Troll Bat Rider going to get, well, popped out of the sky quickly as the units are going to try and get ready to engage both sides. Well, great play by Moon, purposely trying to get into a different angle and now suddenly showing up to the party saying, what are you doing? Where are you at? As units are going to get picked apart here. All right, a couple of units going to get taken on. Are we going to see the the Destroyers able to escape away as another greatly placed acid bomb finding multiple targets as the Wind Riders do tend to stack up. All right, using Wind Riders almost like Mutalisks in StarCraft Brood War, just constantly harassing, hit and run. And well, just like in StarCraft Brood War, that AoE spell, Acid Bomb, able to well, apply damage rather easily across multiple units there. Healing, however, a much bigger aspect here as these units are constantly being left alive. Shadowhunter going off over here, going to try and clear out this creep camp here. Shadowhunter does have a pendant of mana, interestingly enough. So that pendant of mana translates to an additional 250 mana, but it doesn't really help the overall mana capacity, the mana regeneration rate, as he's currently still sitting at 95 mana now. What it can often do, though, is make your opponent misjudge how much mana is left on that target, as you still have, say, another crucial Hex or another crucial healing wave available. All right, there's that Hex going down onto that Death Knight. Death Knight now trying to retreat away. There goes another Gargoyle. Shadowhunter doesn't have much mana, as we're looking at perhaps trying to finish off that Alchemist. Alchemist, however, gets away at 76 hit points. More attacks once more. Farseer sitting at level 4, may be able to get up to level 5. We do have a Staff of Silence on this Farseer, and with this particular army composition, we may see the Wind Riders perhaps try and finish off a corner creep camp wherever that Goblin Zeppelin was left at. Haunted Goldmine here at the 4 o'clock spot. Is it going to be able to get enough gold? We see Moon with a sizable army size advantage. 67 compared to 43, and he is still fully saturated on this gold mine. Meanwhile, Goblin Zeppelin off over here is the Death Knight, and the Lich perhaps going to try and suspect that there is something here as the Death Knight picks up an Orb of Corruption to have another hero who could attack air. Instead of giving it to the Lich, the Death Knight having the option to attack air is much more important now, as we're looking at a potential engagement. One round of attacks, a second round of attacks, quickly trying to finish things off, perhaps taking down that that Obsidian statue as the Shadowhunter gets up to level 5 already. Shadowhunter looks like he barely has any experience, but has another Hex lined up and in store if needed, as both sides are going to continue to engage here. Farseer still has plenty to go. Is the Troll Bat Rider is going to try and suicide there onto that target. Why is it what is it doing? All right, not exactly what I was expecting at all, trying to finish off those targets, and does take down one of those gargoyles. Meanwhile, where are the Wind Riders here? Wind Riders actually fly past the Destroyers. This is just a crazy game so far. Moon actually losing control of his units at this end here, trying to take down another Destroyer. That Destroyer escapes away at 32 hit points. Farseer down to 55 hit points here, as both sides gonna take a little bit of losses. All right, low hit point Destroyer simply straight up flying by an entire group of Wind Riders, and one spear would have been all it needed to get taken down. Instead, no damage done, as we are at Fortress. And did we get Envenom Spears? That's what I'm trying to figure out, or are we researching it right now? No, just getting more Bat Riders. Maybe Envenom Spears was already researched and I didn't realize it. All right. As Soin looks to get this expansion up and fully operational, Moon is going to try and find a way to close out this game. A couple of missed opportunities to do a bit more lasting damage to Soin in that previous fight. It felt like Moon just lost control of his Bat Riders. They weren't suiciding. They were simply following the Destroyers and the Gargoyles instead of actually trying to take them down. Meanwhile, The Shadow Hunter coming back across here has plus 16 damage. Talk about wishing that you had a Blade Master in this matchup here. Dual Boots of Quel'Thalas plus a Claws of Attack. That would be a very dangerous Blade Master indeed. You should be commenting games somewhere online. What do you mean I should be like, I'm online commenting games? I I don't know what you mean, but thank you. I think that you're saying that I'm a good caster and I should be doing this. Well, I am. Coming back across, Shadow Wolves trying to put in pressure on these acolytes here. Gonna go ahead and resummon. I mean for monies as a job. Well, I've been doing this for over a decade, so if someone wanted to offer me a job, they would have done so already. All right, Tauren Chieftain, third and final hero, joining in on the fight here. Troll Bat Riders with that siege damage, able to lob a bunch of attacks. That Chain Lightning bouncing around, finishing off the remainder of the Acolytes. As we're looking at this, well, Watchtower now getting pressured. Moon sitting at 79 over 93, fully saturated, as in comes the Scroll of Town Portal, trying to put in and land right here across multiple units. Are we going to see some Hex on to some of those trailing units there? No Hex there. Not quite sure why we didn't see one, as more damage getting added up. Tauren Chieftain now trying to join in on the battlefield. Does have Endurance Aura, but has to be a little bit careful as he runs straight into the Death Knight army. Could have perhaps gotten Death Coil, Frost Nova, and perhaps pressured out. Level 3, nearly level 4 on the Death Knight. No longer making that big of a difference as he needs level 2 Unholy Aura to really outpace the Tauren Chieftain's Endurance Aura as well. That little bit of speed bonus boost no longer enough, as the Troll Bat Riders, well, doing their troll thing at the Expo, shutting it down. All right, coming back across here, Moon not protecting this Expo at all this time around. Heading back off to the north. Do we have a tiny Great Hall positioned somewhere? No tiny Great Hall. Just going to leave that Expo to fall here, knowing that he has the larger army overall. Peons are trying to, well, hide every which way. Tauren Chieftain trying to get an additional experience. He's picked up the Ring of Regeneration, as well as Peons are now making their way off to the north. 81 over 83 supply. No additional mining in the main gold mines, as there is still only 30 seconds of mining left here at the starting base. Necropolis could train up some more acolytes, try to haunt another gold mine here, as the Peons are looking to back out. It appears he's super effective. Coming back around. All right, Farseer going to try to engage here. Troll Bat Riders trying to find their targets. Wind Riders are doing their poking, as the Troll Bat Riders are switching targets left and right. Or do we see Poison Silence coming across from that Staff of Silence being used here? Are we going to switch some targets? Destroyer getting poked down. And no, we do not have Envenom Spears. Farseer could actually be in trouble. Down to 176 hit points. There's level 3 Healing Wave keeping them alive. And now in comes a Stomp. That could be enough to finish things off here, as Chain Lightning bounces around, but the Lich is still somehow able to stay alive. Farseer is trying to keep that distance a little bit longer, as the Farseer does wait for Chain Lightning, could perhaps try and go after, but then again would also be in Death Coil range. There goes another Obsidian statue now. 32 supply compared to 63, as this Expo, this secret moon base, already operational for quite some time. How much? Yeah, operation. Man, Moon and his secret Death Stars, just setting up secret bases all across the map. Difficult to find them all, even with the mini-map. Gotta check the mini-map more. Coming back across, Tauren Chieftain taking this opportunity to just continue to win by more. Gonna pick up Rune Bracers. That will be a great item for that Farseer, who's been taking the burst damage from all of those spells. You can take a look. He also has 11 armor, so that Farseer only at 750 hit points. Still surprisingly strong here, if the Tauren Chieftain gives that Rune Bracers over to that Farseer to, well, mitigate some of that damage. This Town Hall, a tiny Great Hall already, or not, a Great Hall already placed down as well. So it is going to be, well, this base operational, and this base now getting underway again. Moon does have a watchtower here, will offer a little bit of protection over time. Tauren Chieftain now trying to make a bit of a play. Are the peons now? Nope, Scroll of Town Portal instead, just going to try and transfer off to the north. Undead doesn't want to stick around in this fight, and here we are, here we go. That footprint of the army looks rather small, but still very effective as we see a quick hex followed by a stomp there, and we may see a repeat of that here again. There is another hex, there's a silence. Are we going to see a stomp? The Tauren Chieftain trying to get in front, and the Death Knight just going to end up falling. And that will most likely be the game. The Undead Death Knight, the leader of the Undead army, quickly getting cleaned up there. All right, more targeting. I still don't see Envenom Spears on these Wind Riders. The Wind Riders with Envenom Spears could have really added up a lot of damage over time just with those volleys. But Moon... I gotta say, anytime I see a game with Moon on Twisted Meadows, I do expect a strong economic advantage by Moon, even if he is not playing his typical Night Elf. Moon coming over the top, beating Soin here on Twisted Meadows with an unorthodox air-only strategy with Orc. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.